They were everywhere. I was alone in the guard shack and down to my last magazine. I'd killed dozens, but there were hundreds more. "Someone bring me more ammo," I yelled, but somehow I knew nobody was left alive. Shooter and his brother were lying outside of the guard shack, currently being chewed on by several zombies. I fired my last round at one of the things who had managed to crawl up and into the guard shack. Pulling out my machete, I began swinging wildly as they came pouring in. One of them, an ugly, gaunt-faced male of indeterminable age, grabbed me in a bear hug. I tried to push him away, but his face moved inexorably toward mine, his teeth gnashing. I could even smell his hot, rank breath. He then stuck his tongue out and licked me. I jerked awake, sometime during the second or third time Zoe licked my face. When she saw my eyes open, her tail started thumping against the floor, which caused Callahan to jump up on the bed and give my face a lick as well. I guess they needed to go outside and were telling me they'd be most appreciative if I got my butt out of bed. I reached out and acknowledged them both with a head pat, rubbed the sleep out of my eyes, and tried to calm myself from the nightmare. Kelly stirred beside me. "What time is it?" she murmured. I glanced at the luminescent dials on my watch. "Almost 5. Kelly voiced her displeasure with a groan of irritation. I gave her a kiss on the cheek, ignoring her morning breath. "Go back to sleep. I'm going to walk the dogs." Upon our arrival at Mount Weather the evening before, we were greeted with open arms, more or less. Even President Richmond gave a welcoming speech. We were fed MREs, which I never liked, but didn't complain, and then were assigned to rooms that were located underground in the famous top-secret bunker. I found out the private rooms were reserved for the VIPs, and the rest of the personnel were relegated to either small, single rooms or the dormitory. So far, we'd been treated wonderfully. Sammy Hunter, our recently adopted 10-year-old kid, almost 11, he was quick to point out, was sleeping on a cot in the den, but when I entered, he was instantly awake. "What are you doing?" he asked sleepily. "I'm going to take them for a walk," I said, gesturing at the dogs. "Do you want to go with me?" He readily agreed and began dressing. The elevator hummed smoothly as we ascended to the surface. "How do they have electricity?" Sammy asked. "According to Seth, it comes from a dam that's located about 200 miles from here." I saw Sammy looking at me in puzzlement. "The dam supplies hydroelectric energy," I explained. "What's that?" he asked. I gave him a look. "It's when water is used to create electricity. We're gonna have to get you enrolled in school." Sammy made a face. "Can't you teach me?" I smiled and gave his shoulder a squeeze. "Sure I can, but I want you to be smart." "You're smart. Everyone says so." "I want you smarter than me," I said. The elevator door opened. Zoe and Callahan ran ahead and waited anxiously at the main entry door. "Where's everyone at?" Sammy asked as we watched Zoe sniff around before finding a suitable spot. She'd grown a lot since she was given to us by a gentleman who called himself Hillbilly, but there was still a lot of puppy in her. I made a mental note to ask if there was a veterinarian here. "I guess they're all still asleep," I replied. It was a humid gray morning. It felt like rain was on the way. I looked around at what I could see of Mount Weather. I'd read about it once on the internet, and I got the impression it was a massive, fortress-like facility. So I was a little surprised when we got here. There were multiple buildings, all built without seeming regard to symmetry or efficiency. I was told they were all connected by tunnels, but I had not had a chance to get that far yet. There were a lot of things present that I'm sure were added after. Greenhouses, a couple of barns, someone had even built a small smoker, and lots of clotheslines. I'd seen the laundry room down below, but I guess some people felt like energy conservation was important. The fencing looked like it had been reinforced several times. I could see the original fencing, and then there was additional fencing, added posts and concertina wire, lots of concertina wire. It was full of trash. I guess keeping it clean was not a high priority. There was a guard shack down at the main entrance. It was supposed to be manned 24 hours a day. "Let's go say hello to the guards." The main guard shack had been constructed sometime within the first or second year. It was at the northern edge of the property where State Route 601 and Old Blue Ridge Mountain Road intersected. They'd erected large concrete barricades with a heavily fortified steel gate. The guard shack was surrounded by HESCO barriers like the military uses.